It was an honor this weekend to speak at Data Saturday, Columbus, Ohio, with my good friend Matt Gordon. I noticed something when I give this Database Watcher session, though. I get three common questions about Database Watcher, and we're going to cover those on today's Tales from the Field.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
If this is your first time finding us on Tales from the Field, give us a like and hit that subscribe. On Tales from the Field, we like to drop content for you on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. On Tuesdays, we have this thing we call the Roundtable, where we share links, blogs, videos put together by you, the Azure Data community, for the Azure Data community. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays, we have this thing we like to call MS Tech Bits. You're watching one of those now. Let's get over to it. All right, before we get into the question, I'm going to share the most important slide, or what I think is the most important slide from each Database Watcher session I give. It is the feedback slide, and we're going to pull it up here on the screen. This slide's going to be very important because this allows us to provide feedback to the Database Watcher program group. All right, let's get over to the questions. Let's count our questions down like Deadpool from 3 to 1. The third most common question I get about Database Watcher is, does it support alerts today? Not at this time. Database Watcher does not support alerts, but because of the fact that we put this data within an Azure Data Explorer or within a real-time intelligence event house, you can write your own custom alerting off of that. Question number 2. What is Database Watcher going to cost me? Well, the good news here is that our watchers, all of our SQL connectors, all of the dashboards we create, those are free. Where our cost does come in is if we're using an Azure Data Explorer or our real-time analytics in Microsoft Fabric. Our usage there, or our cost there, is going to be based off of our consumption. You could also incur some cost if you're using Azure Key Vault. Our recommendation is to use Microsoft Entra IDs, recall from this session, or if you haven't been to one of my sessions, the recommendation is to use Microsoft Entra. But if you need to use SQL logins, you're going to incur some costs from Azure Key Vault. And then the third place we could incur some cost is from our network bandwidth. If we are pulling data across different regions, you could see some cost within your Azure tenant. Okay, finishing up question 2, bring it in real quick. Bring it in. I want to share you a secret. Shh. Actually, it's not that much of a secret. But if you are using Database Watcher, you want to use Database Watcher, and you want to show management what Database Watcher brings to the table, you can use the free Azure Data Explorer to test and kick the tires for Database Watcher. You get that up to a year. You can monitor as much as you want within the limits of Database Watcher. So there's a little hack there for you that you can use while showing the return on investment of Database Watcher. Coming in at number 1, the most common question I receive during my Database Watcher sessions is, can Database Watcher monitor my Azure SQL VMs, my on-premises SQL servers, Postgres, or MySQL? Let's first get to what Database Watcher can monitor before we get into that question. Database Watcher can monitor our Azure SQL DBs, its replicas. Hyperscale, its replicas. It can monitor our Elastic pools, and it can monitor our managed instances, and you guessed it, it can monitor our managed instance replicas. Right now, at this time, it cannot monitor Azure SQL Server VMs, SQL Server on-premises, Postgres, or MySQL. But hey, let's bring this screen back up here again. Whoop! Once again, I feel this is the most important slide out of this session, the Database Watcher session that Matt Gordon and I provided. It'll be provided in the description of the video as well, so you can just click on it and go out there and provide your feedback. All right, there we have it. The 3 most common questions I get during my Database Watcher sessions. What questions do you have about Database Watcher? Put them in the comments down below. We here at Tales from the Field will be able to answer for them, and if we don't have the answers, we'll reach out and get those answers for you. And as always, be good to each other.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.